Okay, I guess that means that we should call the meeting to order.
Yep.
Right at 12:59. We are clocking in a minute early.
Oh, my computer said 1. But we're good.
Oh.
12:59.
It's 1 o'clock on my phone, 12:59 on my computer. So we're good.
Not a problem.
All right, so we will first go through the roll call. Tammy,
Here.
thank you. Trina,
I'm here.
Kurt,
Yep, I'm here.
Erin is here. Jenny? No, I'm hoping she's popping in.
And Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
I'm not on the roll.
Okay, so we need to first go through the minutes. We have an ancient meeting to go through from August 22nd. Did anybody have any comments or feedback on those minutes? Okay. Does anyone want to put a motion to approve?
I motion that we approve both I don't know the dates on either one of them, but both of the minutes that were presented to us.
That's fine.
We have a second?
Second.
All right, motion is to approve both the August 22nd and October 10th meeting minutes as they stand. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and there's nobody to oppose, so minutes pass.
Great. Oh, Jenny is in the waiting room. Hold on. I'm going to promote her to panelist.
Great. Hi, Jenny. Welcome. Okay, I know Jenny has her hands full and will be participating as she is able to.
Yes, and sorry, I was allowing permission. So thank you for the welcome. Hello, everybody. It's been a while.
So now we're going to chat with our candidates. I know we had 7, is that correct?
Yes.
And I'm not sure if all are able to be here today, but those who are here today will have the opportunity to hear from them and to, I think, we have a little bit of time to ask questions as well, Elena.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a chance for you to ask questions.
Okay.
So
All right.
you get to interview them, ask them any questions you want. You have the information that was submitted on their application, and that was in your packet. So all of you should have that information. And I thought we would just start with the way that they are in the packet. That way it'd be easiest for you guys to follow along in your packets. So the first one in the packet is Tiffany Calder, and she is in the waiting room. So I'm going to allow her to talk.
Hi, Tiffany. Thanks for joining us today, and thank you for applying. We appreciate that.
No problem.
I don't know if anybody else has questions that they would like to ask. We want to Tiffany will give you a minute maybe to explain why you were interested in applying for the DEIC position.
Are you good at hearing me? I'm on Bluetooth, so okay,
Yep.
perfect.
We can hear you.
I guess just I saw that there was the open position, and my family's lived here for a couple years, so I knew I was eligible. I think I stated in my application, I've encouraged my teenage kids to get involved in the community, and realized I have not. So, you know, practice what you preach to your teenagers, right? So just an effort to be able to be involved. And I think the DEIC seems like a nice area to get started with that. I like the idea of being able to be on a little bit of a newer committee, one that can influence a lot of different areas of Estacada, as opposed to being just, you know, just in like one area, like the arts or the traffic safety, but kind of a little more broad and looking at all of the different pieces of the community.
Okay, I don't know if any committee members have questions. Jerry, you have one?
Yeah, so my question is, what unique qualities will you be bringing to the DEIC?
Okay.
It's a tough one, I know.
So because I don't know the other individuals on the committee, it's hard to speak to their uniqueness necessarily, but
Your uniqueness.
my uniqueness, I can try and speak to that. I have had the opportunity to work with people within my faith community and helping them work to resolve conflict that maybe comes at things from different points of view, different life experiences that can not necessarily make everybody happy, but meet needs that people can live with. And just an understanding that we all come from different walks of life, and we're never all going to be happy with all of our results, but that idea of coming together to work toward one goal. My husband and I have a child that's on the autism spectrum. And so working with the school district for IEP and 504 meetings has been an experience over the course of his education, sometimes going very well and sometimes not. So that need to advocate has sometimes needed to come out of my wheelhouse a little bit stronger than others. That child is also transgender. And so the need to learn how to balance, again, advocating, but also stepping lightly and knowing how to advocate in a way that people can also learn and hear and listen, that maybe otherwise are going to turn their minds and brains off to differences because of speaking too loudly and highlighting differences instead of sameness.
Thank you.
Okay, I think unless you have any other questions, we should probably move on to the next applicant so we can keep on time. Thank you, Tiffany. Okay,
Yes.
and then the next is Robert Morales, and I'm going to allow him to talk. Okay, Robert.
Hi,
I'm here
Robert.
if you can hear me.
Yep. Thanks for joining us today, and thank you for applying for the committee. Jerry, do you want to start with your question?
Are
Or
we going to
gonna
give?
do?
Are you
We're
going
gonna
to
do
give him?
different. Okay.
Are you going to give him the minute?
Yes,
the
we'll give you.
time?
Okay. Sorry, I'm like rusty in being on Zoom meetings today.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to give you a minute, Robert, to talk about why you were interested in serving on the DEIC.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, you guys. I guess ever since I was a young youth, I've always been wanting to help wherever I can in the community or just anywhere that I could help. I've always just been a kind of giving and helping person. So anyway, what brought my attention to this, or why I thought it would be maybe a good fit with this group? Of course, as a person of color and as a local business owner, I've been here in Estacada for 37 years now, and I don't plan on going anywhere. And so I'd love to be involved somehow as a part of the community and be helping others somehow. I've coached here in the community for 25 years, all kinds of different races of kids, and helping them to be successful athletes, successful people. And I guess, you know, as a father of 4 beautiful mixed race children here in Estacada, would help, I think, as a person that could offer first real perspective, first person experience with some of these things.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Might
Robert.
be about it. Yes, thank you.
You want to,
Well, does anybody else have any questions before I ask mine? Okay, so Robert, I'm gonna pose the same question. You know, I've known you for 20+ years. What unique perspective or unique abilities would you bring to the DEIC?
Yes, thank you, Jerry. Yes, again, being able to bring a perspective as a person of color who, again, has been raised here in Estacada, and owning a business and everything that goes with owning a business, and interacting with all kinds of different types of races and sexual creeds of customers, and dealing with them all. And I believe if you spoke with anybody, any customers of mine, everybody, I never had a complaint. But anyway, so being able to be very effective at communicating, being able to remain calm in situations, I guess, where people are excited about different things, and being able to help find a effective solution to the problem, I guess, without a lot of conflict, I guess. Might be my answer there.
Can I ask one more?
Sure.
Do you feel that there is a need for diversity, equity, and inclusion in Estacada?
I do, Jerry. Yes, I absolutely do. So I would be excited to be a part of it, and to be able just to offer whatever insight I could, and to be able to be a part of a team that's working towards those goals, and be able to help those that need the help effectively, and help make sure that those folks that need any additional assistance or guidance in whatever goals they're trying to reach, that we can be there for them, and in a positive way, and help them achieve that.
All right. Thanks, Robert. I think we'll probably have to move on to our next candidate. Yes.
the next is Terrell Hoffman, and I don't see her in the waiting room. If she's in the waiting room, can you raise your hand?
Erin, this is Tammy.
Yeah.
Just have a, sorry to interrupt, but I just had a question. We probably should be asking people if they have any times that they cannot meet.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
So when Erin and I talked about the agenda a little earlier today, it is a little later on your agenda. We're asking about changing the meeting time. And so at that point, we were going to ask all the applicants about their availability.
Oh, okay. That's great to know.
Great.
All right. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. So next we have Valerie Calhoun, and I see her in the waiting room. So I'm going to allow her to talk. Okay, Valerie.
Hi, Valerie. Thanks for joining us. Like with all the candidates, I'm saying thank you for applying, because I know that's a big step for a lot of people. So we appreciate that. We're going to start by giving you a minute or so just to explain why you were interested in serving on the DEIC.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I was pretty excited because in the past, I've been involved in diversity to great extents at my job. And I currently have 2 jobs, but I worked 35 years in the baking industry locally at Safeway Manufacturing and also Dave's Killer Bread, which some of you might be aware of those two companies. Anyway, I was in charge of the diversity initiative for Safeway Corporate. And so I was trained several years ago. I hate to date myself, but it's been a while. So yeah, so I was involved in training the company managers on what diversity is, the value of diversity in the business world, as well as in, community. And it was extremely effective because many people didn't even understand what diversity was. It's like a really great topic now because it's trending, but back then when I was learning, it was like really resistant. Like there was so much resistance in the workplace. So I also had hands-on work with employees that I worked in a manufacturing facility, and I had 20 employees, and about 50% of them were all either mentally disabled, physically disabled, or had different ethnicity type of things that were challenged in the workplace. So like different language opportunities and things like that. So I got to work with that group for 5 years. And so I also led internal diversity in that facility. And then working at Dave's Killer Bread, there's a whole nother topic about diversity because you have, people with criminal backgrounds. So just working directly with people with criminal backgrounds, learning how to manage and promote resources for them, and being just a really big part of, we have a foundation there that helps get in, people with criminal background jobs and things like that, and not just jobs, but to develop them as well into leaders. So it's quite intriguing and fascinating and effective, and that I think is the most recent that I've been working on. Also, I started a new business in town, which I went back to school because I'm so passionate about helping people that I decided to go back to school and get my master's degree in mental health counseling. So I just started a new business and some you may know of it and some may not, because it literally just started this summer. In June was my first month, and it's right downtown in the Mason Jar building upstairs, where there's like a upstairs section. So what I've learned through the past few years of counseling is that mental health has become a huge diversity topic because people are not recognizing mental health as something that needs attention, and more now than ever because of what's happened in the past couple of years. It's become so prevalent in the communities that we're getting a flood of people needing help. So I just think that that is something that is truly needed, and it's been in the past a stigma. So the stigma behind mental health is that, it's not cool to have to get help through mental health issues, but what's happening is that people are needing it so much they don't care if it's, something that's not perceived as acceptable. So there's so much going on in the community here that I've been looking at going, oh, I really would like to get involved, but where do I fit in? Like, I didn't know until this popped up, and I thought, wow, this is actually something that I felt passionate about, and as well as it's totally needed in the community. I would say every community, but definitely because Estacada is a small community, it's more noticeable when things aren't available. And I think you guys are doing a really good job already. And I like to be a part of that, and in a way that would have an impact. I'm super passionate about working with youth. Like I currently volunteer at Shepherd's Door, which is a recovery facility for women and children in Portland. And then I also work with Transitional Youth, which is another place where they do housing for people that are homeless, basically. And so it has been so rewarding. And and I'd like my business to become a nonprofit internally, and I'm trying to work towards that as well. And I talked with Ant Farm about 2 weeks ago about maybe connecting with them on mental health issues and different topics, because I know they're really starting to work in our community. I'm super excited about that. And I just realized that was a really long answer. So.
You're I was going to cut you off. I hate cutting you off because you're pretty much out of time.
I'll stop talking.
Are there any questions from anyone?
I don't want to make her repeat what she just said, so I'm not gonna ask my question.
Okay,
I do agree with you. You know, Oregon used to be really ranked really high, I think #1 in mental health for a long time, and now we're pretty much at the bottom. So I appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
thank you. Okay, next we have Travis Garrison. I'm gonna allow him to talk. Okay, Travis?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We
Yep,
can
we
hear you. Thank,
Perfect.
thank you for joining us. Thank
Yeah.
you for applying.
Mhm.
We're going to give you a minute to talk about why you were interested in applying for a position on the DEIC.
Yeah, so I wanted to apply because I have some experience with DEI in my employment, and it's something that is, I guess you could call it relatively new, and new stuff is hard for people to wrap their brains around. And I think DEI has definitely fallen in that category. And just in my own experience with how DEI was rolled out by my employer, I'm a cop in the city of Gresham, and I think that my employer did they tried, but they really failed in a lot of ways. And the way that they did it kind of scared people away from DEI when if they had planned a little bit better or said things a little bit differently, it could have been a little less scary to people and been better embraced. And I want, there are a lot of really great things about DEI. I think that everyone can benefit from DEI. But I do think that the rollout has to be done carefully and focusing on what our common beliefs and our common values are is really important with DEI to be successful. And so just using my experience with maybe a past poor experience with DEI, I think I could be very helpful to the committee in that way.
I think the answer to my question was in what he said and also in his application. So thank you so much for applying.
I
all
do
of
have,
you.
I have a clarifying question because you did leave blank and this is my fault for the way that the form is, but how long have you lived at your address?
I've been there for 7.5 years.
Okay, it just needs to be over 1. That's all.
Perfect.
Does anybody else have any other questions for Travis? Thank you very much.
I don't have a question for him, but other in blue for doing the job I'm doing.
Kurt, I only caught like half of what you said. You were really breaking up there. You want to try that again?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Travis for the job that he's doing. It's
Okay.
probably one of the toughest jobs in America right now. And as a fellow brother in blue, thank you for what you do today, sir.
Okay, so next we have Jessica Dowling, and Jessica said she wouldn't be able to make it. She had an appointment. Okay, yeah, just double checking. So she's not here. And so next we have Michael Anderly. And I'm gonna go ahead and give him the ability to talk. Okay, Mike? Mike, can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, yep, there we go. Great. Fantastic.
I'm sorry, I'm about 6 miles up Wildcat right now on a job site hauling equipment. So thanks for having me, and I hope that you can understand me. I'm not sure how service is over here.
Nope,
It's
we can
great.
hear you just fine.
Crystal clear.
Thank you.
Mike, thanks for joining us today, and thank you for submitting an application to be a part of the DEIC. Give us a minute or less response on why you are interested in serving on this committee.
Thanks. Recently, I took a position with the Arts Committee just sort of out of my own self-interest of participating in city government for what's available to me. We live a few miles outside of town, so we are somewhat limited to how we can serve the community. Early on, when I was younger, as a teenager, one of my first jobs was working with developmentally disabled adults in supporting them in vocational and residential settings. I did that work for about 10 years before I started my own business in my late 20s. So I have been advocating for underrepresented individuals for a long time. And now I'm also raising young boys and preteens. My oldest is about to turn 13 here in 2 weeks. So we do participate actively in our kids' school, which is the Montessori school in Damascus, Lewis and Clark Montessori. I can tell you with absolute certainty that young people are much more fluid than they were even in my experience, 25 years ago when I was in school. So it's been a really significant learning experience, and exposure wise, kind of feeling out how, the kids are doing it nowadays. Frankly, my interest in the committee really goes to representation and awareness. I think that a lot of people have this idea that our community doesn't have very many people of different diversity. And so like, what's the big deal, or why do we need to make this kind of an effort? And I think that really what we're talking about is the lack of awareness from individuals. And just because you don't see these things, in your day-to-day life doesn't mean that they're not there. And then we can also sort of extend our awareness and compassion for people that are from different backgrounds when that opportunity does present itself in your day-to-day life. So I feel like I'd like to, assert that awareness in any way possible, really, within the community.
Thanks, Mike. Jerry?
I don't really have any questions for Mike. Hopefully somebody else might.
I do.
Great.
So on the last 2 or 3 applications, nothing is stated on how long they've lived in Estacada.
Mm,
Oh,
So-
would you like my response?
Yes.
it just says yes.
We purchased our property in 2016.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. That's all of our applicants. So are we going into discussion now? Or are we going into talking about meeting time?
I think it'd be a good idea to talk about the meeting time so that we can clarify with all the applicants if those times will work for them, because that might immediately disqualify some of them based on their work schedules.
Right. Right. So we've been meeting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Mondays, which was a specific request from a former committee member that worked for all of us. And I think schedules have changed, and looking at trying to find a different time that can work for the committee again. So Elena, you had some specific times if we want city participation, which I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, yes, we do 100%.
Well, if you want me specifically, we could probably arrange it that I could switch with another committee member, another staff person if we needed to, but I am not available after 6 p.m.
Okay, I don't want to be available after 6 p.m. either.
Okay.
And you can take me out of consideration. If it's on a Monday, I'm available all day long until council meetings start. And then any other day of the week, anytime after 5 p.m. I'm available.
Yep. I'm looking for either an afternoon, like late afternoon, early evening time, just because I have a small child with me 2 days a week, or I'm now working from the office 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, Kurt, Trina, Tammy, Jenny, just want to hear.
Could we not? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Kurt, sorry.
We're good as long as it's after 10 a.m. because we're both retired and I like my sleep.
Tammy?
So I prefer no meetings after 4. That's just my preference because my husband gets off work at 4. So it's just more convenient for us. I can do mornings, actually afternoons work just fine for me. So as long as I have advance notice, anything before 4 would work for me.
Okay, Travis
So
has his,
oh, sorry.
go ahead,
Uh,
Jenny.
I was just gonna say, it sounds as if maybe Monday afternoons would kind of hit all the current committee members' availability, because that works for me as well.
Okay, if we're gonna do Monday afternoons, I would recommend switching the days so they're not on the same days as council. So instead of the 2nd and the 4th, we do the 1st and the 3rd. Does that sound
So
good?
it's not a marathon day.
Yes, yep. And then Travis has his hand up. So,
He's already on.
yeah, okay, you can just unmute yourself, Travis.
Perfect. Yeah, so I work until 5 p.m. Monday through Thursday. I'm actually at work right now.
Okay.
I'm kind of flexible, but I'm kind of not. I'm in charge of our crisis negotiation team in addition to a bunch of other duties. So I guess all of that is to say that I am going to be here as much as I can be, and scheduling it outside of my regular work hours would be best, but I can get permission from my bosses to do this during my regular work hours as well. So I'm kind of flexible, but just know that if somebody is being held hostage, I might have to miss the meeting.
I
sure
think
you'll
that would
understand.
be, I think that would be considered an excused absence.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And we also talked about, we have been meeting twice a month, and we talked about reducing that down to once a month now that we sort of have our systems in place. Although I would miss seeing you all every other week. It might help with people's flexibility in their scheduling also. Okay, so we're thinking we're narrowing down to Monday afternoon. My preference is to be in person for meetings, which means I have to have childcare in place. And I can't guarantee if we meet at 3 that I will have it.
So are you thinking 4? Or is that
Well,
too-
or 3:30. I mean, just giving myself for somebody to come home and take my child from me would be best. But Tammy, would you be able, like if we split the difference and did like a 3:30 meeting, is that something that could work for you?
Yeah, I could probably make that work, especially, if, I mean, just twice a month. I can work with
Once.
whatever.
Or once a month even?
Yeah, I'm willing to even do it twice a month if that's what we need to do.
Okay. So 3:30 on a Monday afternoon, not the same Mondays as city council meetings.
Yep. So,
That's the proposal.
yep. So does that work for everybody else? Kurt, Trina? It sounded like
Works
they
for
were.
me.
Okay,
Yeah, that works for both of us.
fantastic.
And the applicants.
So is that going to have any issues for any of the applicants that have not already spoken? They should all be able to unmute yourself.
That would work just fine for me.
Okay.
So Robert, Valerie, and Mike are the 3 we need to hear from.
Yes, that's fine. This is Valerie.
I'm very flexible. Whatever we need to do, I'll be there.
Works for me.
Great.
Okay, and we don't have any idea about Jessica, right? She's a nurse, so I'm
Or
guessing.
Carol.
Yeah. Well, Jessica
And
responded and said she couldn't come, but
Erin, I'm
Yes.
thinking about this, and I know I'm a mama too, so I know how things sometimes work, and I'm wondering if maybe we should just say, just for the easiness of it being top of the hour, maybe we should just say 4.
That's-
Because that would give you extra time in case somebody's running late. And it's just 1 or 2 days a week. I mean, sorry, a month. So, I'm willing to do what needs to be done. So why don't we say 4? Would that work for everybody? Give us extra time, and anybody that would have to pick up kids from school, it's giving them a little extra time. Anyway, just a suggestion.
Thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that.
4 PM works for me.
Great.
And just clarifying, that's 4 PM, the first and third Monday of the month for now.
For now, I think that we could probably even go through the end of the year, just going the first Monday. Oh, yeah,
Okay,
we'll do
great.
the first Monday through the end of the year and then reassess in January. Since November and December, you have Christmas and Thanksgiving, and we want to give you guys extra time with your families.
Absolutely.
Whether we want it or not.
That's your problem. Okay.
Okay, great. So we now know that scheduling is really not an issue.
Nope. And Mike texted in the Q&A and said 4 works fine for him too.
Okay.
Fantastic. So now you guys need to, and I would recommend that you look at the code and look at the applicants and what you've heard from them today and what they've put in their applications and see how they best fit the position.
Yes. So the code, the five things that we're looking at on the code, just to remind all of y'all, is the commitment to equity, social and environmental justice, diversity and inclusion. And I'm going to sort of shorten some of these a little bit. They're not word for word. The ability to work collaboratively with diverse perspectives, connection with local, historically marginalized and underrepresented communities, skills in policy evaluation, local government, procurement, public participation, research, education, business, etc. And an ability to represent demographic diversity of Estacada.
Okay.
So we need to.
There's two openings. I would suggest you do one at a time. And so someone needs to make a motion to recommend to city council and then a person's name, and then you can have discussion and then vote.
Okay.
I would like to make a motion to consider Robert, I'm not sure, is it Morales? For the position. I believe he would bring a diverse perspective as a person of color. We don't have a friend. I mean, if you look at the committee, it's kind of melanin free perspective with all the contacts he has in the committee. So that's the motion that I make.
Okay. Do we have we look for a second before we discuss?
You look for a
I-
second. If there isn't a second, then the motion dies.
I'd like to second it.
Okay. Okay, so now
Um,
discussion.
Can I have a comment before we vote?
Well,
we
yeah,
need to
it's
discuss.
discussion.
Am I coming
It's
in back because I
discussion.
can hardly hear you guys?
Yep, I can hear you fine, Trina, and it is
No, I mean,
discussion
you can
time.
hear. Perfect.
Yep.
What I think from reading the applicants and then listening to all of them, I think all of them are more than qualified to be on this committee. And it's ultimately the board's decision. I
Mhm.
don't see a problem with anybody that applied. I think as a group, we should appoint approve of all of them to the city council and let the city council decide. I think all of them are equally qualified, and it's ultimately the city council's decision anyway. So I would like that. I would like to see more diversity on our amongst our group though. And I'm glad that we have more male participation and people with other outlooks and everything. It's great to see all the people applying. That made me so happy. But yeah, I think all of them are great, and I think I approve of all of them. So that was what I wanted to say.
Okay, well, back to discussion about the motion on the floor for Robert Morales. And I'd say I appreciate Robert's application. I feel like there are a couple of other applicants who have stronger experience in this type of work that could really bring immediate action and different perspectives to our committee.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but we truly don't have a diverse. If somebody took a snapshot and took a picture and posted that online and look, there's, according to what I'm looking at, I'm not seeing with his contact, not only with the entire community, but especially his ties to the Hispanic community in town. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I've said this in the past. We've got a bunch of middle-aged white women and me on this group. I think we need more diversity than that because it's not very diverse.
Thanks, Kurt. I'd also remind people that diversity isn't just represented in appearances. Tammy, you unmuted.
So I felt like he was a very strong candidate in what he said. And I read, I read through pretty much all of the applications. So are we going to vote on each person? Is that how this is going to work?
No,
Or
you have two openings, so you need to vote for two people to recommend. And Trina is right. In the end, the council is the one who selects someone. So that's
I guess, so my question would be, if we as a committee only recommend two people to the committee, then those will be the people that are on the committee, or do they have to look at all the applications?
No, the council looks at all the applications. So all of these applications will come before the council, and then the committee's recommendations are just part of what they weigh when the council looks to add somebody to the committee.
I see. Okay. So, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. All right.
I think that I would have to agree with Aaron. That it seems like, I know that our committee is still fairly new. We've been around for a couple of years, but we're figuring out our feet still. So it might be nice to have somebody with a little bit more experience, either working in a city committee or with DEI initiatives.
Is there any other comment? No? Okay. I mean, I would say I'm a little concerned about some of the language terminology used. So that's where I'll leave that.
Can you explain that, Aaron, what you mean by you're concerned about terminology? Is something we said or something that was stated on applications?
No, I think, well, and honestly, I've sort of done due diligence research also on our candidates, and I have a lot of hesitation about bringing Robert onto this committee based off of comments that have been made about the very existence of this committee.
But if we want true diversity of thought, don't we want all kinds of thoughts, not just every thought that agrees with one specific line? Don't we want true diversity of thought instead of groupthink?
I think we want diversity of thought, but I think we also want people who are invested in the work. And this is a reminder that we do have a code of conduct that kind of establishes how we interact with the world. And I don't know if maybe that was something that should be sent out to all of the applicants to make sure it's something they can abide by, because I think technically speaking, if people were
True, but
concerned.
everybody's got a past. I mean, I'm sure, I know 100% for a fact that there are members on this committee.
Kurt, you cut out and I was also still speaking.
Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, this group is looking to put one type of person on the DEIC, and that's not very diverse. I mean, we need true diversity on this committee, not just go down a checkbox and say, okay, this person thinks this way, this way, this way, because that totally goes against diversity. It's conformity of thought, what a lot of people are looking for, not true diversity of thought.
We're also-
Again, I'll finish my thought, which was, I think technically people can be removed if there are public complaints about their conduct. And I know we've had complaints about members in the past, so I don't want to invite that kind of distraction to the committee, possibly. And then I think also kind of non-serious example is, I'm a vegetarian, so I wouldn't really want to be the judge of a steak eating competition. So I understand diversity of thought, but if somebody isn't actually interested in doing the work or doesn't believe the work is necessary, I don't know that this is the right committee for them, because we have rules of what we're supposed to kind of think and believe and be working towards that were established by the city council. And if somebody can't follow the code as it's written and be invested in what the code says we're supposed to be doing, then this likely isn't the correct committee for them.
So I wish we would have had this more discussion before we went straight into a motion. Because I think if you look at the applications and you look at the which I went through them before and I just went through them again. If you look at the applications and you look at the criteria that we're asking for, there are 4 people that check all the boxes. Okay, and they don't check all the boxes as they all think the same way, because you read their applications, you know they're not that way. But there are 4 people who check all the boxes, you know, in the criteria for DEIC membership. So like I said, I really wish we would have had discussion before we went straight to a motion, but you know, I think we do need to move forward with this motion, because it is a motion, unless the motion wants to, unless Kurt wants to withdraw the motion to have further discussion, because like I said, I think that we should have had a little bit of discussion before, or you guys should have had a little bit of discussion before going straight to a motion.
Yeah, I definitely do not want to withdraw my motion. That's why I put it out, because we're going to have to leave here in about a minute. But a true diversity, equity, and inclusion committee should have diverse committee members, because like one of the things that we tried, that was stated in the mission plan, was historically marginalized and underrepresented. And I mean, Robert's a person of color. He would be the only person of color on this committee in the last 18 to 20 months after Frank left. So that's why I would like to get a person of color on this committee to get that perspective. And unfortunately, we have to jump off, but I'm not under any circumstances taking back my recommendation, but I gotta go.
You have to,
So if Kurt and Trina leave, we no longer have a quorum and we cannot vote on the motion. And in this case, it would go to council and council will make a decision on without a motion from the committee.
It looks like Trina's still here.
Yeah, like I said, I think all of them are great. And I would do a motion that I don't see any problem with any of them. I would like to do a motion that
oh,
we
we have to
approve.
finish with, sorry, Trina, we do have to finish with the previous motion before we start another one.
Oh, we can't, because I would like to see us do all of them. Do you wanna, hey, before you sign up, because you still got that one on there. I know, we gotta go.
We can, if you leave, Trina, it would send it to council and that's just what will happen as soon as you sign
Okay,
off.
because I really think from reading their applications, all of them are interested. And I just think it's fantastic how many applicants we got,
Yep,
you
I
know?
agree.
I mean, I think that's wonderful. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I think that's great that we've got people that are interested in this. Either way, maybe whatever their interest, their underlining interest, people are showing an interest in this stuff and it's great. So, and I encourage everybody's point of view. So I support all of them. And I think the council has a real tough decision tonight. But thank you. I've got to go because I got to get to this appointment. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
So Aaron, is there a way for us to, I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit taken back because I've never been on a committee where we can't finish our meeting. And I'm not sure this has ever happened to me. So I'm wondering, is it possible for us to call another meeting before they have council meeting about this?
It's
Council is
tonight.
Yeah, so unfortunately there isn't. You can send your individual comments as individual committee members to council. And if you want to email those to me, I'd be happy to send those along. And then we have the council presentation this evening and Erin as the chair will be doing that presentation. And I'm sure she'll just be happy to say we were unable to come to consensus among any of the applicants and leave it at that.
Okay. I guess that's the best we can do, I guess.
Yep. Sometimes that's what
Okay,
happens.
so I can just send my recommendations to you?
Yes, I can collect the individual recommendations from individual committee members.
Okay.
So I just want to thank all the applicants that came today
Yeah.
and apologize that the meeting did not come to a close. And, you know, hopefully you attend tonight's council meeting. This is not typical of our DEIC meetings. And again, that was a little embarrassing and I apologize.
Oh, Valerie, you can unmute yourself.
What time is the meeting tonight?
It starts at 7. I don't know that they'll be doing these recommendations until later in the meeting.
It's a little deep in our agenda tonight.
Mhm.
Okay, and it's at City Hall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or Zoom.
Yeah,
Or
or you can zoom in. Yep.
okay. And I did have a comment, not
Okay.
to, just, I did not see anything on the application that asked for our ethnicity as being a question. And
It's not.
okay, because I'm assuming that that's because it's not the only thing that in diverse topics. So I just wanted to make sure, because if that becomes like the underlying factor for the decision, then I would want to fill out the application and put down my ethnicity. So, but if that is the only determining factor, I just would want to know that for sure. And it doesn't sound like it is going to be based on on what
I
you-
really hope it's not.
It should
Yeah.
not be.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. Well, it was really, really nice to be able to listen, and thank you for allowing me and everyone else. And it's just fantastic what you guys are doing, and I hope to make the meeting tonight. Thank
Great,
you.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you, applicants.
Yes. Do you know what you're going to cover tonight you're good?
No,
Otherwise, you can email me or call me and I can help you.
Yes. And if you'll be at
discuss.
City Hall, maybe I'll just come by a little later this afternoon.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Sorry
Okay.
for all of our technical difficulties too.
With that, we're
Thank you,
adjourned. I mean, we
applicants.
adjourned when they left the meeting, I guess, but
Yes. And congratulations, Jenny.
yes.
Yes, congratulations, Jenny.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Until next time.
Until
Bye.
tonight.
Bye.